Hi, I'm Randy Hollenbeck, and this is the Music Roundtable. Today on the show, we have Jeff Glace from new metal band Hank Grenade.
Thanks for having me on, bud. I'm doing good. How are you?
Step back on the break from this cage, cause I bust your ass with the clip full range. Every second counts, there's no time to waste, so I click another round just to give them a taste. Can't you see it don't matter to me when they get with murder in the first degree? Cause once I kick back and start to realize you come around again and I'll have to break it. Watch me. Watch me.
I just wanted to get into some of your history. When did you start getting into music? What age? And what got you into music?
Oh, it was my mom. My mom and my aunt were in a band together since they were 19. And growing up, I was always at the practice space. I was always like cradling my mom's leg and just watching them play and watching them jam. And I was always like, I'm going to do this when I get bigger, mommy. So first thing I wanted to learn was the drums. So my aunt would sit and teach me drums. I learned the entire Thriller album. She'd sit there behind the kit, 4 years old, just playing the little drum beat to Billie Jean. But so I've pretty much ever since I was 4 years old, I've been basically indoctrinated into music. And it's been nothing. It's all I've ever known to do.
What were some of your musical influences growing up?
Uh, when I was very young, probably gonna laugh, but from what my parents would always show me is like I was really into like Reba McEntire, Shania Twain, like old country, Johnny Cash, Elvis Presley. My aunt's a huge Elvis Presley fan, so like the old school stuff is what I grew up on. But not until I started becoming a little shitball kid trying to find my own music, I got into rap, and my cousin got me into like NWA and LL Cool J. Oh, man, what else did he have me listen to? It was a lot of old rap back in the early '90s. And when I watched MTV one day, Limp Bizkit came on, and I was like, oh my god, this is what I want to do. So I went down that rabbit hole and got into Limp Bizkit and Korn, and then I found Deftones, and I've been into it ever since. And then from there, I got into more heavier stuff in my teens. I started listening to Cannibal Corpse, and I got into Suicide Silence and Whitechapel. And as I'm getting older, I'm starting to go back into the old days of when I was a kid with my dad and all them, listening to old Johnny Cash and Elvis Presley and stuff. It's kind of funny how you do the little rebellious teenager getting more and more heavy as you go. And then you finally reach that age where you're like, this is what my parents used to tell me about. Wait till you're my age.
It's like you go through cycles.
It seems that way. It seems life's just full of cycles, and I've kindly went full circle. Now I feel old. Once you hit that 30, it's like if my teenager self could see myself, it's like, oh, you're a poser. It's like then you sit there and you get to be that dad figure. It's like one day you understand, buddy. One day you understand. But nah, that's my influences go from all across the board. Like I got into gorillas a lot, and what else have I been listening to? Got into Mac Miller. It's hard to find something I don't like.
When did you start singing?
Oh, I sang a few songs with my mom and her band back when I was around 8 years old. I don't know what was that kid's name. He did the One Voice Was Heard, Billy Gilman. I want to say it was a one hit wonder back in like the mid '90s, and I sang it with my mom because it was a huge hit back then. One voice, I think it was like One Voice Was Heard Down Here on Earth or something. So I sang that with my mom, and that was like my first singing experience. And after that, I started getting into like going to choir practice and joining the school's choir. But when I got into the school's choir was when I hit puberty, and my voice went from really high to being this combination of Barry White and Droopy. But so I started singing, but eventually it turned into my voice is just too low of a register. I can't sing anymore. So I started getting into screaming once I started listening to more deathcore, and that's when I joined my first band. as a screamer, and I was basically in a deathcore band for about 5 years, just doing nothing but screaming, and blew my voice out doing all that. And after, I want to say it wasn't until 5 years ago is when I started to actually try to sing. So I let my voice heal. I let my vocal cords get back in order, and I started messing around with doing covers. And yeah, been singing my whole life, but my vocal cords have definitely taken a beating during my teenage years. Still taking a beating in Hey Grenade. I don't know.
Can you tell me about how you formed the band Hank Grenade?
I was doing solo stuff. Like after I quit deathcore bands, I started just doing solo stuff. I started making my own new metal songs, just going back to the early days of what I loved in Limp Bizkit and Korn, making those styles, and posted a few on SoundCloud. And I put an ad out trying to find a band to join, and got a message from Chuck, my guitar player. He's like, "Hey, you want to join this band? It's a new metal band from Altoona. We're fairly new. We're just getting started." At first, I was like, "Nah, I'm just gonna do my own stuff." And after a few months, I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna join. I think it's time I join a band." So I put the ad back in, and Chuck called me again. This was like 7 months later. So I was like, "Man, still looking for a singer, huh?" He's like, "Yeah." So I went in. It was October 19th of 2012. We're heading on our 10-year anniversary. I walk in, a little 22-year-old kid, and they're like, "Hey, here you go. Show me what you got." And I said, "Show me some of your original stuff that you guys wrote." And the first song we ever tried playing was Walk Away off our Reload EP. So Chuck showed me that riff. Mikey started playing the drums to it, and I had lyrics from a previous song. And I was like, "Well, we'll see how this works." And we wrote Walk Away in the first 3 hours of meeting each other. And it's the opening song to our Reload EP. And we hit it off from there. We've been making music for the past 10 years together, and what a ride it's been.
Can you tell me how the name came to be Hank Grenade?
Oh, that cringy name. We were trying to name the band probably a month after forming. We were going through a bunch of names. Like I think one of the names was like Deadbolt and like did Digital Dreams or something like that. Like just I thought we were just gonna be a local band, whatever. Like so we're just making these little local band names and everything. And one day Chuck came in, he's like, "We were watching Friday the 13th," and he's like, "My wife was sitting there saying, man, if there's a way to like envision his anger, like Jason Voorhees' anger, and it's like an explosion of anger, like a hate grenade." And Chuck messaged us all in a text. He's like, "What do you think about the name Hate Grenade?" And I said that was the dumbest name I've ever heard in my life because there's probably 50 hardcore bands with that name out in California. Lo and behold, I got on Google, and after extensive research, because I did not want to name the band Hate Grenade, I could not find a single band name with Hate Grenade. So I took that as a sign. I was like, you know what? Like, we'll do it because that'll be the first thing to pop up. And that was the first thing to pop up on Google when you type in Hate Grenade was our band. So I was like, all right, I'm sold. I To this day I can't stand the name, but it's recognizable. It's simple, but gets clicks.
Okay. What city is your band based out of?
We're from Altoona, Pennsylvania. I'm from Tyrone, Pennsylvania, which is about 15 minutes southwest. And the rest of the, or no, I'm north. I'm about 15 minutes north of Altoona, and the rest of the guys are in Altoona. Well, originally, all three of those guys were in Altoona. And after going through a slew of bass players, our now bass player, Donnie, is from Rochester, New York. So, but he does not practice with us. He's a machine. All I have to do is send him an MP3 and he learns it within like 5 tries of playing it. And yeah, so Tyrone, Pennsylvania, Altoona, Pennsylvania, Rochester, New York.
When the pandemic hit and live music shut down for that whole year, what did you do during that time?
I made covers because we were going to become a Deftones tribute band because we're all very big Deftones fans. And it was always my dream to be Chino Marino. Like as a little kid sitting there playing pretend in my bedroom as a kid. And we learned a whole hour and a half Deftones set from their beginning catalog to their new catalog. We learned an hour and a half worth of Deftones songs we just thought would make a great kick-ass set list. So we put that together for 7 months, and our first show was it April 19th or May? It was the day before the country shut down. It was the day before lockdowns. So they canceled the show, and we took all of 19 off. Basically everyone took all of 19 off, unfortunately. But we avoided the COVID as long as we could, and we were just waiting for everything to open back up. So in the meantime, we tried writing an album, and I don't think we were just like, Chuck wanted to renovate his house, Mikey was getting a new job, and I constantly write music. So I was watching a few other artists do covers, so I was like, I'll try my jab at this. So I started covering, like, doing metal versions like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys. I did an Avril Lavigne song in style of Korn. Did what else is it? I did No Doubt's what song is it? Hella Good. I just did the most obscure 90s pop songs, turned them like a pop goes punk kind of thing. So that was how I spent my quarantine. And I tried writing another solo album that just went nowhere. I was having too much fun doing the covers. And it wasn't until maybe a year later, when everything started opening back up, is when we decided to get back into shows. So we've been trying to slowly get back together ever since.
I wanted to ask you about that first album, Reload. It had the songs Lies and Reload on it, and you released it in 2014. Can you tell me about that experience of, like, going into the studio the first time and recording these songs?
The Reload EP was actually written on my 8-track. We had no money. We were all unemployed at that point. Me, Chuck, Mike, we were unemployed. We didn't even have a bass player at that point. So I played bass and did the vocals. It wasn't until we hired Richie to come and do bass is I overdubbed him to make sure that he was actually on the album. But the album was written with me on bass. We set up my 8-track speakers, the guitar rig. We set a snake chain to the drums in the other room. It's full-blown garage recording. Like, the Reload EP was complete DIY garage recording. And we were just young, having fun, like, making our first EP. It wasn't even supposed to be an EP. It was just supposed to be a demo, because we opened for Nonpoint in Pittsburgh, and we got talking to Dave Lizzo, and he wanted a demo. We had no demo. I ran into Rob. He wanted a demo. We had no demo. So we were like, okay, we have to record something now. We had no money to do studio time or anything. So I said, okay, let's just make a quick demo, and that's it. So we made the Reload EP, and we were like, let's just do it. Let's just release this as an EP. So we took those demos and we made an EP out of it. And we had the fans get in on the album cover. I drew an album cover of a guy in a hood pulling a pin. Chuck did the cover of what is now the red cover. We had the fans vote on the cover experience. Like, we were enjoying it. That's the first time that we got to actually, like, put ourselves out there. Like, here's what we sound like. It's probably my favorite out of our catalog. It's so raw. It's right when we were just getting started. We had no idea what we were doing. It was just like, that's as pure hate grenade as you can get, just right off the bat, from what that EP represents. And we started writing the second pretty much a year after.
You said I was useless. You hated my life and you hated my name. You seemed to me so ruthless, telling them all I'm nothing but to blame. Just spit in my face, you stabbed me in the back. What makes you think that you can play me out like that? Just play me out like that. You're telling them lies.
How long did it take to write record when you guys started setting up and recording all that? Did it take some time to figure things out?
No, we clicked right off the bat. And so we wrote Walkaway in the first few hours of being in a band. Like Chuck had a few riffs and I had a few riff ideas and we were just going off a feel. So after we wrote Walkaway, we wrote another song called Bipolar, which we never released, another song called Critical, which we never released. We did release Critical, but it was very limited. And then we started writing Vendetta, then we wrote Lies, then we wrote Say What. We wrote a bunch of other songs that ended up being on our Pull the Pin album. But when we were getting ready to just make the EP, we were like, okay, these are the 5 songs that we think are going to make a great demo, which we just turned into an EP. And at writing each song came really, really easy. Like it's not exactly technical Children of Bodom like like technical playing or anything. Like as much as I love new metal, like I'm probably gonna get flack for this, but it like if you find the chemistry, like it's like any music really. If you find the right chemistry of people, you can write a song pretty fairly quick if you guys are on the same page. And when we were unemployed at that point, like we were spending every day at Chuck's house for like 6 hours, and we wrote probably 10 songs within the first 3 months, and barely made changes to them. And it Hate Grenade songs still come to this day pretty organically. Like I'll send Chuck a riff or a full song that I just have laying around in my studio's database, and just, hey, like, what do you think of this one? He'll send back like, yeah, I don't like that one, or I love that one. Like, show me the tabs. Like, how do you play it? When we get together in the jam space, we'll jam it out a few times, and we'll sit there, look at each other, like, do we like this? Does this feel good? Does this feel like a song that can like get people's attention? If it's a yes, we keep it. If it's a no, we scrap it and we save the riffs for maybe another day.
Now, what about the lyrics? Do you like work alone or do you work within the band, like feeding off of each other to write down the lyrics?
Usually it's all me. The lyrics are all me, and it's not by choice. It's just I just spit stuff out freestyle a lot, and a lot of times like I'll sit there, like I'll be stumped on a song, like I'll hear it and I'll hear a melody or I'll hear a rhythm how I want to like do a rap part of it, and all I need is a title. So I'll look at Mike and Chuck and I'll be like, name this song. And that's Mikey named Reload before lyrics were even written. So we're sitting there jamming it, and I'm doing my ba da 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 ba ba ba's kinds over, like getting the rhythm for it. And I was like, Mikey, what's the title of this song? He's like, let's name it Reload. So as soon as he named it Reload, I sit there and, all right, pull out my notebook and start writing down gibberish and just trying to find a coherent way to put the words together. That's pretty much every song for Hate Grenade. I I rarely like to sit and ponder on it. I usually it's what I'm feeling at that point in time of listening to the song is what ends up being the song. And a lot of the times I it it comes natural. Really, like I don't like to dwell on it too much, because I feel if I dwell on it too much, then I'm just gonna get in my own head. I'm gonna overthink it. And a lot of times I'll just press record. I'll say whatever's on my mind at the time, like Walk Away, Lies, and Say What I want to say were pretty much like 3 takes of me just saying gibberish words left and right, and then going back, hearing what I said, and being like, okay, I can construct that into a sentence here. And so the lyrics, I don't spend too much time on them. I know what I want to say, so I spit it out as quickly and efficiently as I can the first few times of trying to come up with the lyrics.
You guys just released Hollywood in August. Is there plans for more songs to be released or an album?
We had a whole album written, and collectively we decided to hold it for a while. We knew we wanted to release Hollywood because we knew that Hollywood was just, around the board, all of us, it was just our favorite song that was off that what we've written. And that song was something also that I took to Chuck. I wrote the riff, I wrote all the scrap drum parts to it. I had the lyrics, I had all the vocal melody, I had everything written. I sent it to the guy. I said, "Here, what do you think of this song?" And Chuck wrote back he loved it. Mikey wrote back he loved it. Donnie said it was great. So we got it in the jam space, jammed it out a little bit. We're like, "Yep, like this is a single. Like we're gonna release this as a single." So we sat and recorded it, and we originally wanted to do a music video for it, but when it comes to music videos in Hey Grenade, we're all very conflicting on what we want the video to be like. Personally, to me, I don't care what the video is. It could be us jamming in a small space room. Chuck likes to have it like going the style of the lyrics, like if it's Hollywood, so he wants to go into a storyline. Mikey doesn't care, and I think Donnie had a few ideas for it, but collectively we're just like, there's a reason we haven't released a music video since Lies. We just can't agree on like what we want to do for the music video, so that's unfortunately why we have no music videos. But originally, I was gonna do a live video of Hollywood. We were gonna go on tour back in October, late October, early November this year. Unfortunately, our tour van broke down on the first day of the tour, so we had to cancel the whole tour. We could not find a U-Haul. We had no funds to rent a U-Haul to do the whole tour with. We couldn't find anyone to give us a van, so we ended up just having to cancel it. So a lot of our plans got scrapped after that. So we haven't really done anything since we were supposed to be on tour. We were gonna play a show. When was it? We were gonna play a Christmas themed show in Virginia in middle of December, but Donnie ended up getting COVID, so we had to cancel it. He got COVID like 2 days prior to the show, so in good faith, we had to cancel. It just he was not doing well. Luckily, he's feeling better, but it it just seemed like last year was just every bad thing that could have happened to Hate Grenade last year happened. So we're like, all right, we're gonna take a little break. Like we're gonna rewrite a whole new album. If the songs we had written previously stick and they're still up to par, we'll keep them. If with the new ones we write are way better, we'll keep those. But we're just trying to get a huge collective group of songs, probably to make a double album. Like we're just trying to figure out something to do that's we haven't done before, because it seems like we just would release EP, then album, tour. But
What do you guys got planned for 2022?
hopefully more touring. That's last year, thankfully, we got on a few shows on the tour with Head P and Dropout Kings and became good friends. We've opened for Head P probably now, I think 7 or 8 times. Like we've become good friends with the guys in Head P, and we're hoping to open for them again if they come around. Like we just anyone that comes around, we'll sit there and message them like, hey. We always try shooting shots. Like we'll sit there and throw out a message like, "Hey, we're this band from Altoona. Like, check us out. If you want us to open for you, we'll make it happen. If not, sorry. Like, sorry for wasting your time on listening to our shitty band." But yeah, we got pretty good with those guys, so we're hoping they come around. And we have a few shows in mind in the next few months. We're hoping to get on a festival later on this year. I'm not sure which one. Chuck's still in talks with the promoter. Yeah, hopefully 2022 is way better than what 2021 was for Hate Grenade, that's for sure. Because we would just hit every bump in the road this year. And the 10 years we've been a band, this was the worst year for our luck. It just seemed like everything that could have went wrong with this band went wrong with this band. So in a way, it feels like we're trying to start over.
How can we get a hold of you guys? Facebook, Instagram, Twitter?
Oh, we're on everything. We're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, iTunes. We even have our own website, www.heyGrenade.com. You can go there, sign up, become a member. You can keep in touch with all of our news updates. A lot of times we have our song Critical was for the people that signed up on our mailing list. Like if you were a part of HeyGrenade.com, you got to get that song. And anywhere on social media you could find Hate Grenade, we're on it, and we're always open to talk to people. Anytime you message us, we're gonna answer back. We have nothing better to do.
That's all the questions I have for you. Thanks for coming on the show. Is there anything you'd like to add?
Hey, thanks for having me, man. Check us out. We're on Spotify and iTunes. We're we're actually in the process of remixing The King is Dead, because The King is Dead is just such horrible quality, in my opinion. We rushed that album, and the quality definitely suffered for it. So I'm now currently in the process of remixing it. So it's definitely my favorite body of work we have, and it's just unfortunate that the quality of the music did not reach my expectation of it. So now I get to sit down and in the studio and remix that. So that one will be remixed. It is going to be released again, hopefully soon. But yeah, hopefully we can land some shows, meet some new people, get out to new places, and it's all that's why we're in a band. We just want to meet new people and just hang out, have fun, try to stay young. you just never know, man. Life comes at you fast, and we're just trying to have a good time while we're here.
Make me streets of gold, and then I'm kicking away the graves, coming one with the fold, and let me lose control. It's a half-teen soul. Won't you come and change your body and your clay to mold? I wanna be high off the life I'll hide, and while I'm smelling all the sugar from the belly of pride, let the innocence die, cause this life's a lie, living up a double life like I'm Jekyll and Hyde. That's why